Hey guys, I got another review for you. This is another budget Amazon find for the tactical who are just trying to survive on a budget. Um, is it the best gear you could possibly buy? No, but for 20 bucks, this might be the best belt you could get. So I just wanted to let you know that whenever I do find stuff on Amazon or anywhere that's worth trying out, I just want to share with you opportunities and products that might work for you. So if you do like finding budget tactical stuff, like and subscribe, especially if you like the Amazon gas mask full face respirator video that I made last week. So today what we have here is the Jukemo tactical belt. It is a elastic webbing belt that has some flexibility to it, and it's good for active lifestyles and everyday carry, concealed carry, maybe. Every use that I had for this, it was pretty good. It has a pretty easy adjustment style, which I liked. And for about 20 bucks, you couldn't do very much better. I tried buying actually 6 other very cheap and budget focused tactical belts off Amazon. And despite the fact I believe that a lot of these are made by the same company, they were all using different materials, different components, different hardware, and even the quality could vary a little bit here and there. That you could just definitely tell that the quality control wasn't always there. And this one, I'm not going to say was great either, but at least the sample size of one, I really liked it. I know that Amazon has several colors of this, but I got the black just to be the most, discreet, or just like low profile, just something I wanted to add to any pair of pants that I had. Black goes with pretty much everything. So the reason why I got this was I wanted to get an elastic style belt, and I looked at the market and it looked like basically there were a few belts out there that kind of developed from this elastic concept. The first one I ever saw was the Way of the Gun by Frank Proctor. He had his belt, and it was kind of like just a thick elastic, very, the kind that you would use on like leg straps, and it had like sewn in pouches or like slots so you could put magazines into the belt itself. I got to handle it for a little bit. It seemed like a halfway decent thing, but it did look like a very disposable item, in the sense that I would expect that someone probably would have to replace one every year if they wore it every day. Not a bad product. People shouldn't expect that their concealed carry gear should last forever. If you use it, it's going to get scratched up, it's going to get marred, it's going to get deformed. You can try to keep it in best condition you can. Like if you have a leather one, you can condition it and, clean it and do the best you can, and, make sure that the hardware is good and, moisture doesn't break away and make it brittle. But, we should always think of these things as kind of disposable, or at least, maybe not disposable, but consumable. There you go. That's what I want to say. These items are consumables, so nothing lasts forever, really, especially if you use them hard. So, but yeah, the Way of the Gun belt, no longer available. You could try searching everywhere. I searched for a good week or so on all the forums and everything like that. Couldn't find it. And it's mostly because I wanted to try this concept out again. Now that I'm a little older, I can't bend over as well. So, my mobility is something I wish I had more of, and these elastic belts kind of help with that. The other options that you could probably look at right now are the 100 Constantine belt. That's like super, super popular with a lot of the everyday carry, concealed carry people. I think that one goes for about 115 bucks, And it's an interesting design because it has stiff sections. So like for appendix carry, it's all stiff up in the front. And then I believe there are some elastic portions, kind of like the Way of the Gun had elastic webbing in the back. They said that you can use it for strong side carry, either right or left, but then you would basically, their solution is just move the stiff portion that was in the front to your side, and then have your buckle, somewhere in your front right instead of having it center in front of you. It might be a good design. I don't know. I wasn't willing to spend $115 just to try it out just yet. I wanted to at least see what just generically an elastic belt would be like for me. I know there's one other option, American Operator's Gear. There's some talk about whether or not they were originally designed together, the Hunter Constantine belt and them, but that one's about $85, a little less, I think, stiff section and more elastic. But again, I'm comparing this against a $20 Amazon belt, so with free shipping. So something to take a look at. I don't always think that you have to buy the most expensive gear. I think you should buy appropriate equipment for what it is. But not everybody has all the money for all the classes, and all the good gear, and ammunition on top of that. We kind of have to budget ourselves and try to do the best we can. So let's get on with this review. The reason why I got this one I kept this one instead of the other Amazon finds that I tried out. This one actually is affordable, and yet it had a lot of strength when it came to the vertical load of the strap. So most of the belts, they had some flex. As you can see, this stretches out probably a little bit more than an inch, maybe more, maybe an inch and a half. And so that's a lot of stretch. Very useful if you wear your belt pretty tight and you want a little extra give when you bend over or bend to the side, or you have an active lifestyle. But all the other ones had a very weak vertical load. So as you can see, I pinch this and it doesn't really bend. Now if I go on the back side and I try to get leverage on it, eventually it will fold. But without that pressure in the back, it holds up really well. And just to compare against some pretty well-known belt options, this one is, if you can see, a core belt, and this is a gun leather belt. This is their Buffalo belt. So I think these retail for about $50, just the strap itself. And then the buckle, this one's a Next belt for Safariland. Really good belt. I wear it a lot. Looks pretty casual. I probably will try to get a slightly more discreet buckle, but most of the time people don't notice. But you can see that the vertical load on this one, you can see it flex with the grains. It's a little bit more than this. And this one doesn't flex. And then if we compare it to, let's say, this one, this is the Volund Gearworks G-Hook Atlas belt. And you can take a look here. I'm just going to even one-handed so you can see it bends. It doesn't have the vertical load. This is a very high-quality belt, and it has lasted me forever, and there's great stitching that's super consistent, and it's reinforced in all the places it should be. But this is primarily, I use this belt a lot, actually. This is my inside the waistband carry belt, mostly because of how flexible it is. It gives a little bit more for me than my core belt, which gets a lot of use as a outside the waistband belt for me. But again, not for full loads or anything. This is just casual appearance, so with jeans or such. Very discreet belt. Anyways, so going back to the Jukemo, the vertical load is very good. Stretch is awesome. I found that the stitching was pretty consistent. It doesn't have all the 4 lines of stitching that you would get in something like a Volund Gearworks, or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of stitching. But for $20, it's not bad. It's quite good. The other ones from Amazon, they had all the stretch, no wall, and then the buckle on all of them were just horrible. Like some of them were just easy tension ones where they had like one row of teeth that would sink into it, and then the latch would just pop open at any instance, or sometimes it was a pin that under tension you would just tighten it, and then the backing off of it would keep it tense. But then every once in a while, if it fed through, because most of the webbing was very slippery, it would just feed right through and slip out. So it was garbage as a everyday carry belt. I would not recommend any of those other ones. I bought, I think, 6 other belts, and this was the only one I decided to keep and even show to you guys, because it just wasn't worth anyone else taking a look at it. I want to show you guys good stuff so you can tell other people about this good stuff. But yeah, so this is a copy of a Alpen Cobra buckle. Not even a good copy, but you know, you can take a closer look here. It has some weight ratings. I don't know how well you can trust them. There's some markings there. I'm not quite sure what that is. And it says PAT. And I do believe this is patent pending, because I'll show you on the other side of this buckle. But here you can see where the lugs lock in. Tension comes through there. It's really fun and easy to, you know, go to the bathroom because of this quick release function, and then, you know, buckling back up. And one thing I've noticed about a lot of belts is that if they do have some vertical load, when you use the bathroom and you have to unbuckle, a lot of times your gear will stay in place with the belt loops and such. So for some of you guys who are worried about your gun falling out, this does enough that it will keep tension on it if you're not being sloppy. So that's one benefit. And that's the real thing, right? If you carry a gun, you're going to at some point use the facilities, and that's something you're going to have to take note of. But yeah, so if we take a look at this particular buckle, you can see the lugs on it. That's not accidentally going to come off. And here you can take a look. If you press 1, you still have connection. So you need to engage both to release. The flashing on it is not super great. You can still see the kind of the mold marks of that. If I can get closer, there you go, you can see that. These are screwed in using some hex screws. They look very small. I wouldn't put too much faith in them. But you can see there's a roll pin that goes down in, and it's probably a taper pin that holds it in. Haven't had it back out yet, and this is for me my 3rd month having this belt, maybe 4th month. Okay, so let's get into the buckle and why this is actually decent. If you look here, it says Turun. I think that was the other belts that I bought. Some of them were labeled as Turun belts. It says, let's see, patent product, all rights reserved, E3085. That's on the back of the buckle here, and I believe on the underside too. Anyways, so we look through the webbing, and we look at the buckle. You see that there are teeth right here, 5. Not too aggressive, but take note, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clasp part that goes right here. There's 5 that go here when this lid is closed down on it, and there's an additional 4 down here. So when it's all said and done, clipped in, there's probably 13 teeth along all of these, along the webbing. Comparatively so. I'll take a look at the core. Of course, there's 3 Allen screws that cinch down, and there's a row of teeth that bite down into the leather or synthetic, whatever you use. But just to keep you in mind, these are very aggressive. There's only about 6 or 7 teeth, I believe. I could be wrong. But yeah, so the clasping of this buckle, I would say that's much higher quality than the pin that you slide in the webbing through, and then it just tensions by that, or the other ones where it was just 5 teeth and you clasped it down and it was already, like, due tension, it was already sitting up, and it just basically would want on its own to flick up. So much better designed with this belt right here. One thing to take note of, I think this belt comes in an extremely long length. I think it's like 54 or 58 inches. It's something insane. I had to cut off more than a foot of it, I believe. So there's a lot of room to start. And when you first get it, there's this belt keeper here to tuck in the tongue of the belt. And originally it came with a half circle end. I didn't really like it, and I knew it was going to be difficult for me to replicate the same kind of cut too, so unfortunately I didn't get a picture of it, but it was a half moon cut. Cut was kind of rough, wasn't the greatest flashing finishing of the rounding of the edges. I found that it was really hard to feed through, so I kind of went back and I go to my favorite inside the waistband belt, and I copied the profile. And so I took a pair of scissors and I cut them, and I took a lighter and then rolled it on a metal surface, a flat metal surface, and created these flashed edges, rounded. I gotta say the Valon Gearworks is super smooth and nice. Mine, I give myself a passing grade. It's not the best looking thing, but it works and it doesn't catch on my clothes. If you were to cut with a hot knife or scissors and then refinish it with a, actually if you did have a hot knife, it would still leave sharp edges. So I would recommend you just taking a lighter and rolling these so that they're easy. And then with the tapered cut, you can feed it through your belt loops very easy if you need to undo this. I try to just keep it attached to one pair of shorts that I wear around the house. That's what I would recommend. Anyway, so it clasps down really securely. It has a decent buckle, and I would say that comparatively so, this being $20, this being, this one I think was $55 on its website. Good inside the waistband belt, but not optimal for any outside the waistband carry because of how flexible it is. It tends to pitch when you have any weight that's hanging outside of it. I've carried a Glock 19 with all of these. This one is also, you could carry some stuff like maybe a magazine or a pouch or two, but these aren't really rated that high. You can even go to Core's website and they'll say, I think these are only rated to 4 pounds, and that's true. This one, I would probably reserve this to be only about 3 pounds at most. Still great option for $20. If you want to try elastic belts, this is a great way to get into it to see if you will like it, because everything is subjective. Not everybody has the same body, not everybody has the same range of movement, not everybody does the same kind of activities. For me, this was a great thing to work around the house, mow the lawn, work on the house. It flexes and I can still carry a pistol on me. I would prefer, if I could recommend things, I would rather carry a P365 or my J-frame revolver wearing this, and it was a dream to do that. The Glock 19 still worked, but for me, around the house, I don't really need to carry a Glock 19. So for this one, if you're just carrying a smaller pistol, maybe something that only has like 10 or 12 rounds, this is like a really good belt for inside the waistband. Oh, and I remember the reason why the vertical load is important is that when you clasp a holster onto it, even if it's inside the waistband, you want something that's not going to collapse on itself and ensure that you have a strong connection from the holster to the belt. So that's one thing that I really want to make sure that you guys are all aware, and that why this one has some merit, especially as a budget option. All the other ones wouldn't do that. Okay, so things I would improve. I would hope that the company makes this a little tighter and doesn't allow it to stretch so much. It was really nice to have that stretch, but I think it's a little too much. So, I just tightened down my belt a little bit more, but it would be kind of cool that if I didn't have to tighten it down so much, and then it would just statically stay about there and give just a little bit here and there when I bend over. I would say that a better buckle might be worth something, but then you probably have to pay more. So I'm okay with this, and it does a great job for around the house, errands, and yard work and everything like that. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. Let's see. So if you guys like this video, if you like this video, please like and subscribe so I can continue making videos about good finds that are affordable. It helps the channel. It means I can get more opportunities to make this stuff if you use the link in my description that goes to this product. I know that the manufacturers sometimes change up their names of the manufacturer, so at least this product will link directly to the offering on Amazon. And again, it helps out me and the channel. If you use my link, I get a small commission, but you know, it helps me be able to spend a little extra time to make these videos for you guys. So like and subscribe if you can. And if you guys have any questions or you want to see a particular video, just let me know and I'll see if I can make some time to get it done. You know, not high production, but at least you get to see the products up close and get some impressions from people who are actually using them.